5.7 knots.
Where are we headed, Skipper?
Well, wherever there's some clean water to go diving in. So it looks like it's clearing up now that we're getting to the outer edge, but if all else fails, we'll just go out off the continental shelf and we'll go out to Ashmore Reef.
Why not?
Why not? Because we can. So, but I mean, if we get close to the edge, the barrier of the Great Barrier Reef, if we poke around there, we'll probably find some clean water. But it'd be a shame to come all this way and not just pop over to Ashmore.
The good sailing continued as we headed towards our first anchorage with a nice Spanish mackerel coming on board for dinner. We put the anchor down at the back lagoon in the reef and didn't waste any time jumping in. The poor visibility was pretty typical for this section of the reef, but it still provided an interesting snorkel with angelfish, giant clams, sea perch, stingrays and a sleepy tawny nurse shark, with its own escort of juvenile golden trevally. So we've had a visit from a tern and a booby bird. Yeah, you bud. He's like, what are you looking at, me?
It's almost tempting to lash like the gaff handle out the back as a stick for him to hang on to.
Mm.
You got to make your own way in this world. Well, a little bit of a problem. So as that wind has swung more to the south, it wanted to put us up onto a coral bommy. A lump of coral that was quite shallow. When we came in here, wind was blowing from the west-northwest. So we put the anchor in there and we pretty much expected it to keep with a westerly flow for the whole time we were here, but pressure systems must be moving and the wind has bent round to the south. So nearly put the back end onto a piece of reef. So we just fired up everything, lifted up the anchor and then just came down and replaced the anchor just another 8 metres, 9 metres south of where it used to be. It's too dark, so we can't just drive around here and pick another spot just because there's too many bommies. So we just stuck it down there, and now it's a case of suck it and see, really. We'll just see if it keeps bending around through south and keeps going east, then we might have to reposition the anchor again. But we'll just put the anchor where we were hanging before, and then we can swing into where the anchor was before. But anyway, that's the theory behind it. It's never that much fun to manoeuvre in the dark and the wind when you're in a shallow coral reef, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Just trust your compass, keep your head, and everything's alright. So when we initially came in, dropped the anchor here, and we're swinging onto that. But now as the wind has shifted around, we can see that we're starting to swing around, and here was trouble. When we dropped the anchor here, we were only thinking of getting westerlies. It's shifting to the south. So we've gone and dropped the anchor further down. I know there's bommies here, and now it's not daylight. So I sort of had to just go a further 5-6 metres down and drop it here again. I wanted to stay in that vicinity because if it bends quickly back to the west, then we'll go back to here. If it continues going around south, we might have to move again. Mm-hmm. We'll actually have to drop the anchor in here, right? And then swing.
Oh, yeah.
If it keeps going around, we'll have to put the anchor on our old swing. Because now that it's night time, we can't just go surfing around in here. There's just too much coral. So we can just aim for that as an anchor point, and know that we're going to be safe up here if it swings further. Because all of this we've driven around already, see? Yeah. So we can drop a pick in there. I mean, what time is it? It's about midnight now. Had to re-anchor. And I really don't know if it's going to be a restful night tonight, but there you go. Well, that was definitely the time to go, Pasky. The wind backed the compass, went from the west, and started heading more and more south, and it was coming straight south, which left us in a pretty bad situation at that last reef. And I could feel that it was building, so there's no point waiting for the weather. So we got out of there, we played dodge the bommy. We just put a bit of head sail up just because it's easy to stow, and it controlled our speed just while we're dodging through the yellow stones. Then we got into this channel, and now we're parked here, and I've just gone for a swim on the anchor that's dug in really well. So the bow is in about 3 metres, and 5 metres past the stern it drops off to about 50 metres. So it's going to be good. It's not super clear visibility, but I think we'll still have a pretty good time here. So it's a bit of a stunt park, but it feels very secure here. We've got a whole reef in front between us and the wind, so I think we should be pretty good. But there's blue bone. There's blue bone here, and then there's coral sea pelagics there.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Head in the sky, fearing you won't come down. Darling, a strange, put so much thought into the afterglow. Now rearrange all in your mind for predictive unflow. come to face with such solitude? But you used to love every moment there on your own. Without a doubt, I've seen you fight most of your life there in your eyes. Honey, I'm high of the disguise. I've worn into this ride, into this ride. Won't you come down? Won't you come down? Won't you come down? Yeah. Oh, won't you come down? Won't you come down?
Dinner is served and we're having mackerel and coral trout sashimi that we caught, that Troy caught today on the reef. We're at the outer reef of Torres Strait. So this is the shoulder and this is around near the spine, and then this is just one of the fillets from the coral trout that I've cut into sashimi sized pieces, thick cut sashimi with sushi rice, and we've got all the condiments, wasabi, soya, mirin and soy sauce and pickled ginger, and our favourite Ykymr mayonnaise.
Yes. We're living a life of plenty. We've got a fridge full of squid, a fridge full of mackerel and a fridge full of trout.
Yeah, and we're just having a little bit of mackerel and a little bit of trout, and we're going to make sure, just to make sure that there's no ciguatera, but there's not really any risk of ciguatera up in the Torres Strait, but we'll have a little bit first and see how we feel tomorrow.
Yeah, that's just a protocol that we've come up with, hasn't it? Just enjoy a little sashimi treat.
Yeah.
Before we just hoe into the rest of it. So
yeah,
any ciguatera will just feel a little queasy rather than full-blown symptoms. Yeah, great. That's good.
We pulled the pick and started the day with beautiful sailing conditions, tacking our way through a passage in the inner reef with a steady 10-knot breeze pulling us along to the deep blue of the continental shelf.
can see up here, hopefully you can see, that these clouds here are tinted a little bit of a green. That's because the light is reflecting off the shallow reef, which is that beautiful turquoise colour, bouncing back up and reflecting off the clouds. So a bit of a phenomenon when you're in the tropics. You can actually see where reefs are from some distance by looking for green clouds. That GPS is only a guide here. It's like, they're just rough outlines. None of this has been properly surveyed, so we've still got to keep a pretty good eye out while we're doing this. We'll just pull a port tack just so we don't go over the reef. We'll go around it. We'll just blast towards this patch of the reef, and then we should actually be able to cut a nice line to get all the way through. Let's leave it to the last second so we can get us a really nice line. No four-wheel driving today. Let's do this thing. So like any tack, we'll go over and I'll hold onto the port sheet, let it backfill the sail to get us around that much quicker, and then I'll pull up on this starboard sheet. Alright, Pesky, tacking.
Okay.
Backfill. Rex hook is going off. What you need. Green does not mean go on the reef. Green means stop.
Well, we're going to go deal with those potatoes.
The reason we tack then is hopefully to get just out the side of the cell here so we don't have to reef. See, we're right on the margin.
After skirting the storm system and tacking through the reef, we had a fairly straight run out to the edge, but it did take a while to find a sandy anchorage in the right depth. When we jumped in, we were not disappointed.
Most prominent points on the reef become fish cleaning stations, where groups of cleaner wrasse advertise their presence through their colour and their unique way of swimming. When the larger fish present themselves here, the resident wrasse go to work picking off parasites and dead skin and really contribute to the health of fish on the reef. At the end of all the soft-looking tentacles of this sea anemone are stinging cells that fire microscopic harpoons into the skin of any fish that stray into them. Anemone fish that live here secrete mucus that the stinging cells don't react to, so they can find refuge in the anemone. Here the tentacles look like they're sticking to my skin, but actually they're fastened by tiny barbs. My skin is just too thick for the harpoons to penetrate fully through.
Snorkel.
Pretty good, huh?
I found on the way back I saw a juvenile Maori wrasse. They're cool because their flippers, their fins are so big and floppy, like fans.
Yep.
But they still got the really animated face. Yeah. They're cooler than the one that was medium size and brown, I reckon. But I want to see a blue face one.
Yep. Get a big Maori. Yeah, well this is an exposed anchorage, but the snorkeling is top shelf. Really good.
A few little stingers today. There wasn't any stingers yesterday.
Yeah, you can see the little ctenophores they were getting around, and in amongst them was baby corals, little jellyfish, that sort of thing. We even had a few little reef sharks come in for a visit that time.
Check this out.
They wouldn't come close though, eh?
No, they're real cagey.
Everyone's scared of sharks until you try and actually catch one, and then they're like, Pshow.
Maybe they catch them on Murray and kill them on Murray.
No, that's just standard reef shark.
But until something gets G'd up and they get really excited.
Yeah, you pop one of those trout down there and it'll be a different story.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button because it makes YouTube more likely to recommend our channel to others. Also, don't forget to check out the description of the video because it's packed with information like where to find all the great music in this episode, links to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as links to make a donation to us through PayPal or become a patron of Free Range Sailing and receive exclusive access to additional content.